very first thing we'll start with, where are the pain points when it comes to paper-based cleaning validation? And then we'll talk about cleaning validation life cycle model. And that life cycle model is directly from FDA 2011. We will talk about more when I get to the slide. Then everything is digitized, automated. You do whenever you bring in new product, whenever you bring in new equipment, whenever you do any sort of change assessment to bring in from the cleaning standpoint, how would you be able to manage it in desired manner? So we'll talk about that. And then obviously to reduce your validation effort, you will be doing worst case product and worst case equipment identification. So you're somehow, there are 100 product and there are 5 product family, because you follow this approach. Out of that 5 product family, there is a one worst case product. What you would do, how would you do, how digitization can help, we'll talk about it. Critical cleaning matrices development is more about you do surface area calculation. There are 3 different ways. We'll talk about it, how you can do that, and how a product contact part surface area, non-product contact part surface area, residual limit, how you can capture that information in one click on your fingertip. We'll talk about it. And then now your cleaning validation program is validated, and however many cleaning processes you have, how can you manage it? So we'll also talk about it, how you can manage it. And then at the end of the day, documentation is very important, because validation is all about, at the end of the day, documented evidence. That's all about validation. Challenges with paper-based cleaning validation. These are just the examples. I'm not saying that this could be the case for you guys. These are just the example. And why these example are here, because whenever you go to any regulatory agencies, and only website, I think FDA.gov from North America, they have a really good information, really good data about whom they issued warning letters, whom they issued consent decree, whom, why, what, when. That is available. So all I'm trying to say is that I'll not read through this, but at the end of the day, challenges with paper-based cleaning validation, when human blinks, error happens. And where error happens, that error could be resulting into really hefty money. That could be your warning letter, or that could be consent decree, whatever it is. So how to prevent that error? Because once software is done based on your own policy, based on your requirement, now that software is validated. Obviously 21 CFR part 11 would be there. Automation, GAMP will be there. Now you validated this based on your own requirement procedures, it would give you consistent output. System will not blink, but human can blink. And when human blinks, as I said, error can happen. That error would be ending up as a warning letter, or it can go even to consent decree. So challenges. How do you manage all the calculations today with paper-based cleaning validation? I think most of you, I'm not sure, but most of you, based on my 19 years of experience, I believe that either you'd be using Excel spreadsheet or some sort of paper-based form where it gives you numbers, acceptance criteria, how to perform cleaning validation, how many runs, how to do risk management. That is all on the paper. So how to reduce the risk that is coming from the paper-based, that is what these are the examples. Inconsistent cleaning validation documentation is a very big one. How do you identify worst case product or worst case equipment? What are your criteria? How do you run those on the paper? that would give you inconsistent output. That is why, and also the smartness of the system can provide you digitization with integrated analytical method. Why analytical method is very important for cleaning validation? Well, LOQ, LOD. If when you calculate your acceptance criteria, different companies would name it differently, different acronyms, whether it's a ARA, MACO, this and that. It doesn't matter. At the end of the day, that number has to be analytically supported when you take the swab sample, rinse sample, microbial sample, and how analytical method can smartly support it. When you calculate the value automatically, it can tell you whether it's analytically supported or not. So we'll talk about it, but it's an open board. So I am looking forward to get any questions, any area where it makes any sense when it comes to digitization. Cleaning validation lifecycle model. What is it? FDA in 2011, they talked about, they released a guidance. That guidance was all about principles of process validation, right? So manufacturing processes, basically. So it's directly not applied to cleaning, but at the end of the day, cleaning is still a process. So over the years, from 2011, industry started adopting that validation is not a one-time activity. Validation is something, you are manufacturer, you know your process, so you should be able to determine exactly how many runs you need to do to validate your process. So this life cycle model is all about that. Industry started applying that for manufacturing processes, for a CGMP area. But now, as I said, cleaning validation is also under the umbrella. Industry also started applying this. What is this? Stage 1, 2, and 3. Well, what do you do in cleaning process design? Whether you do laboratory coupon studies or how you do the scale up activities from lab scale to pilot scale to commercial scale. Now your process is ready to be validated. That is clear, stage 2. Now your process is validated in stage 2. Now how do you monitor? How frequently you do periodic monitoring? Whatever your program is, how you can capture it in a digitized manner, that is what we will be talking about. Again, I'm not here to read out this. Stage 1, stage 2, stage 3, this is what you see here is just an example. It could be different based on your own kind of product you manufacture, the way you manufacture, with your understanding, how you have your own cleaning validation program, how you determine your life cycle approach, and how software can help you. This is what it is. So these are examples. Why risk management underneath? Without risk, you cannot validate, to be honest. ASTMA also launched their own standard that talks about risk, ICHQ9, that had entire risk management lifecycle system. The risk is a living document. However you perform risk assessment, it's a living document, and it's not a one-time activity. It has to be version control, it has to have audit trail, and it has to be a living document, because anytime you make any change, equipment, product, process, analytical method, anything, cleaning agent, when it comes to cleaning validation, risk has to be properly managed, and it has to be structured way. It has to be in a way where you apply risk management principles practically, properly, as a living document. So these are the stages. As I said, I'll not read through this, because at the end of the day, I think most of you may be SME, you know that exactly how cleaning validation happens. But as I said, it can vary from customer to customer depending on kind of product you manufacture. How do you create product and equipment when it comes to software world? How do you manufacture product? You manufacture product, and product has X number of things that goes into your product, whether it's APIs, excipients, or any fillers or anything. So system would have that. When you talk about digitization, that is the key thing, right? How do you capture this information? Metadata is nothing other than capturing any information that is useful for you when it comes to product, when it comes to equipment. So it is the information that you want to capture that is a critical information, and that would help you down the road for cleaning validation. So digitization can capture all this information, and there are certain examples when certain product would have multiple APIs, right? Multiple APIs. There is a product that has 3 API. Each API, what is the number? What are the values you want to capture? What your information you want to capture? You will be able to capture it. An additional thing, template, standardized form, decision trace, all of those things in one click, it will run through you. I'll talk about it a little bit later on, that how digitization can help to run through this in single click to help you to make your life easier when it comes to cleaning validation. Equipment is the same thing. Equipment design. What is important for equipment when you have equipment? Product contact part, non-product contact part. Sampling location, exactly where you are taking the samples, and what would be the process parameters. And industry follows TACT wins. TACT stands for all, as you all may know, TACT stand for temperature, concentration, action, and time. Wins is more about operator. How you train your operator, what is the quality of your water that you use to clean. So all that information can be captured. Flexibility digitization can provide, because it is all about you. See, you have to imagine software and digitization of cleaning process is not about us as a software developer. It is more about you, your processes, your policy, how you handle it, how you manage it. Wherever your pain points are, you will be able to do it. And believe me, 3D model will be available when you have equipment, and if you have 3D model, you can click on the lid of the tank. I'm giving you example. You can click on the tank and you can get inside the tank, and you can tag exactly where you are taking the sample from, underneath of the blade, from agitator, or anywhere. You have spray ball, you are doing spray ball coverage study, you will be able to get all that information based on your own policy and requirement. But this is all about you, your program, your policy, your expectations, your requirement. Flexibility will be there. Product assessment and equipment assessment. Very important. Product assessment and equipment assessment is nothing but it's a questionnaire, basically, right? That how do you perform assessment? Right now, the whichever way you are performing, whether it could be on paper or you may have a semi-automatic way where you would be performing it, Excel spreadsheet or this and that. At the end of the day, here we call it, in digitization world, software world for cleaning, business rules. What are business rules? Business rules. Let's say that how do you determine product is worst case? How do you determine that this product you have to do certain number of activities from validation standpoint when it comes to cleaning? You would say, oh yeah, ADPD value is highest or lowest. Surface area, how this product is shared toxicity, toxicological factors, solubility. Solubility, we already have that inbuilt. So you'll be able to do it on your fingertip. It's a configuration option. It's not, as I will repeat myself, it's not about how it can help you to overcome challenges and pain point when it comes to cleaning. It is more about how it can make your life easier through digitization. And product assessment, equipment assessment is nothing other than your own needs, rules, policy, expectations. Whatever SOP you have, however you do it, you can configure it, one-time activity. Now you configured it. Now one click, let's say you have 100 product and you brought in something new. In one click, it would tell you it fits into which product family, whether what sort of validation activity you need to perform, where it sits in, and whether it's completely new product where you never had any experience. So system can smartly notify you, help user to guide through the steps that exactly what sort of activities you need to perform when you bring in something new. That is where product and equipment go. It applies to equipment assessment too. So process flow, manufacturing process, how your product is manufactured left to right. Doesn't matter sterile, non-sterile environment, personal care, however you manufacture your drug product, it still goes through equipment train, right? And that equipment train has either closed environment where if it's a sterile environment, then you would have closed environment where everything moves left to right in closed environment. But what is involved? Where are the process steps? How do you transfer the drug product even in closed environment, in sterile environment? So system in digitization world, you would have ability to capture each and every manufacturing process step, whether sterile, non-sterile, or personal care. Doesn't matter. As long as unit operations is what? Unit operation is something that each manufacturing process step, let's say you are doing blending. I'm talking about non-sterile, right? You are doing the tableting process and everything. How many blenders are available? Which blender you can utilize as a user to manufacture product X? That smartest system can help user that, hey, out of 10 blenders, this blender is available, you can utilize it, and this is what the manufacturing process step to manufacture this drug product going through this environment. Now that's a blender. Now it gonna go left to right. So blender would move into something else. At the end of the day, it would end up tablet press, tablet coating, and after tablet coating, if it's a coated tablet, at the end of the day, it's gonna end up in packaging line. And packaging, you are bottling it, you are blistering, however you are doing it. Entire information can be captured when you create manufacturing process for any drug product. One-time activity, now system smartly collected that information, and system would guide the user wherever, whenever, however you want to utilize that information, system would guide user. Manufacturing process is very, very critical, very important. Why? Because down the road, this feature would be utilized not only for cleaning validation, but also for process validation. That is why it is very important. Drug product family, equipment, we already talked about this, right? The worst case indication, identification, validation master plan. Here, validation master plan is obviously nothing other than what you have. Appendix, the way digitization world can help you. Let's say that you are manufacturing something, you have a validation master plan for cleaning validation program. At the end of the day, do you revise, change your strategy that frequently? At least based on my 19 years of experience, I haven't seen that frequently. So validation master plan is more about a strategic document. Appendix is much more dynamic document. Appendix manages anytime you make any changes, as I said, equipment, product, process, cleaning agent, analytical method, everything. Anytime any change happens with the version control, with audit trail, it would be automatically real-time updated in the appendix that goes in the back end of the validation master plan. So that is where the smartness can happen, right? That is where system can help user not to do any additional thing. And obviously audit trail and everything would capture all the necessary information to be in compliance. It would capture and it would cover your back when it comes to compliance. Decision trees, I said that decision trees is nothing but a questionnaire that you can configure the way you perform your assessments, whether it's a worst case product, worst case equipment, product family, product grouping, equipment grouping, or product, whenever you bring something new product or equipment, you can configure the way you want to. It is all about your own expectations, requirement, and policy. Validation framework is the meat of the system. Why? Because validation framework is something in software world, we call it a framework. Framework is something one-time setup, but it knows where the task dependency is, exactly how your lifecycle approach is configured, determined, and when you have something that needs to happen, task, activity, deliverables, exactly what sort of things needs to happen, validation framework is the trigger point. That is why it is very critical. It would trigger exactly what you need to do as a user when you performing certain things. Validation framework is fully configurable, again, based on your own expectation, requirements, and policy. By default, yes, based on our own understanding, experience, expertise, we have by default certain things that would be available. But if it doesn't align with your own requirement, then you just tell us what your expectation, what your requirements are. And this is again going back to how to make your life easier when you perform any sort of activity when it comes to cleaning validation. Validation framework is the trigger point where it would notify user. And then workflow you can create. Let's say you have 5 departments: engineering, quality, validation, analytical method, whichever division, whichever department. You can create X number of groups. You can determine who would have access to what and what feature and functionality. So that is a pretty common, right? So it would be available for you. So don't worry about accessibility, usability, UI, UX, and then who would get access. It is all on you. Worst case product, worst case equipment, surface area calculation, residual limit calculation. These are the things that we manage in digitized world. How we manage? In one click, I heard one customer, so I'll share my example. I heard one customer who said that Sunil, we are CMO. They're contract manufacturing organization, meaning every month they are bringing more than 100 new products. How would this help? How would this work? Imagine when you bring in something new, whether equipment or product, in one click, it would run all your expectations, requirement, policy, and everything. We call it business rule, as I told you. In one click, it would tell you this product belongs to this product family. This would be a worst case, or this would be bracketed by existing worst case, and you just need to do confirmation run, maybe a single point of confirmation, or you even don't need to do anything. So that level of smartness system can provide. Surface area calculation, total equipment contact surface area, Product A, product B, shared surface contact area, and dedicated equipment. Why dedicated equipment? Because yes, certain product is highly toxic. Certain product you cannot share that equipment with other product for that particular product. So there is also provision where you can also have dedicated equipment, and you can also calculate residual limit utilizing all these worst case product, worst case equipment, surface area, and you will have those matrices on your fingertip. Macro calculation, as I said, where is the smartness of digitization? Whenever you calculate your MACO, residual limit, doesn't matter whatever criteria you follow, right? 10 ppm and LD50 based, AD based, or toxicological threshold value, specific, non-specific method, doesn't matter. At this point, residual limit calculation, user can be notified, informed that which value is analytically supported or not by validated analytical method. So that sort of smartness system can bring over. So these sort of matrices automatically will be generated. You don't have to worry about anything. Everything, all the numbers, algorithms, calculations, obviously a validation team in digitization world, they would be making sure that all the algorithms, all the calculations with different scenarios, it doesn't screw up. It gives you the number that you are looking for. Worst case product matrix. I already talked about this. Identified within a product family or within all the product. As I said, that it's not necessary that you follow the product family concept. There is a possibility that each and every product, kind of product you manufacture, you push it through the cleaning validation program. And that will be compared again all the products, not only product family level at that point. So that level of flexibility through the configuration, during the configuration, you decide yes or no. And you say yes, that you want to follow product family concept, then it would go through the product family concept and all the assessment. But then you say, no, I don't follow product family. At that point, each and every product you bring over, it gonna compare against each and every product that is there at your site under that particular cleaning validation program. Now, business rule defined in the configurable template, as I already told you, that business rule is nothing but your own expectation, requirement, and policy. System determines the worst case product and non-worst case products based on the business rule. One click. Now you are out of your paper-based process. You are no longer utilizing Excel spreadsheet, Microsoft Word, or any other form that you may be using automatically. And imagine that appendix I told you in the validation master plan, in the backend, there would be appendix. This would be real time. This information will be updated with, obviously, as I say, Part 11 compliance and audit trail and who, when, how, what. These business rules, how you identify worst case product, it also has calculations. It also can have complex formula. Because sometimes when you apply your risk-based rules and expectations, let's say that you are using FMEA, you have RPN number. Now you have RPN. Whether that RPN, your one of the business rule would be that this product RPN is less than this or more than this, and whether it would become worst case or it would become non-worst case, and exactly what sort of activity needs to happen. System can guide user how to do it, what to do it. Ultimately, the goal is how to reduce the human error, right? So flexibility through the configuration will be there, and no need for re-entry of data, because all the information needed for analysis will be captured during drug product creation. That is correct. Actually, that is correct. You don't need to re-enter any information. It's a one-time activity. Once you create a product, you capture the information. I also talked about metadata. If there is something that is not there, we call about static screen. And then if that is not available in static screen, then there are other ways to capture the metadata, additional information. That information can be utilized, can be pulled to calculate and identify the way you identify worst case product. Same concept applies to worst case equipment. Why equipment grouping is helpful? Equipment grouping is very helpful because at the end of the day, without equipment, you cannot manufacture drug product. And without equipment and product combination, you cannot perform the cleaning process. So how to reduce that validation effort? Earlier, I gave you example that let's say there are 10 blender, but each and every blender, each and every 100 product, would you manufacture and would you perform cleaning validation? So 100 product, 10 blender, 3 times of cleaning validation run. What is the validation effort? X number of resources, lots of money, lots of time. Is it needed? No. If you follow risk-based approach, and if you do the right way and identify what is the representative equipment that can capture all other equipment within the same group and reduce your validation effort, that is what the concept is. Whether it's the product equipment, that is where the concept is, that it is here to help you to reduce your validation effort. And as I gave you 10 blender, 100 product, 3 runs, each combination, it's gonna be a nightmare, right? So how to reduce that, how to simplify it with the risk-based principle, that is where digitization is all about making your life easier, helping you doing everything on your fingertip without concerning, because system will be validated to your expectation, the way you want to validate it in your production environment, and you don't have to worry about it. I already talked about these 3 different surface area, the way it can be calculated. Can you imagine there is a product A and product B? Dynamically, that product A and product B, what surface area is shared? That is SSA. That surface area is shared between product and product B on your fingertip. That matrix is available. And that would give you accurate, consistent surface area number that is shared between product and product B. It doesn't matter how many products, there is no limit. We have tested around 1 million data points. TCSA is the same. Automatically, system would tell you that what is the total equipment contact surface area for product A, because this TCSA, SSA, equipment specific, everything is product oriented. SSA is product A to product B. TCSA is product specific, meaning this product is going left to right, entire flow. What would be the entire product contact surface area? That is what TCSA. Automatically, it would be calculated. Unit of measure, you don't have to worry, because unit of measure you can configure. If you are in India, if you are in Europe, if you are in South America, you are in North America, doesn't matter. You can configure a unit of measure the way you follow it. So don't worry about it. So this is the important thing, right? That the surface area calculation, because where do you use it? You use this surface area number for your residual limit calculation. That is what the next topic, right? Residual limit calculation. So you use this and you calculate residual limit. These are just example. Don't take it that it's given, right? 10 ppm, dose based, toxicological, AD, PD based. It could be different. The visual inspection is also there. These days, most of companies also, they have quantified visual residual limit as well. Whatever you follow, you can configure and you can set it up. It's a one-time formula setup with the unit of measure, because unit of measure, without unit of measure, it is pointless, right? Because number without unit of measure, mg per kg, microgram per kg, for example, I'm just saying, or microgram per ml, if that unit of measure doesn't exist, it would not give you accurate information. That is why unit of measure, whichever system you are following, metric, non-metric, or wherever you are, you can configure unit of measure based to your ability. We'll help you. And analytical LOQ, LOD is always there, because system will notify user. Things certainly, certain things would turn into red. When you go to residual limit screen, you calculate, certain things would turn into red. Why it is turning into red? Because it is not analytically supported. So it helps user to make informed decision, right decision that is analytically supported. So down the road, there would be no compliance risk. That is why it is very important to highlight that unit of measure calculations, how LOQ, LOD is integrated, how it can help you, very important. Maintain deliverables and all these things, right? Change impact assessment. I think most of you would have your own quality management system, how you do the change control and how you do all these things. Difference here is, this is very direct for cleaning process. You can create cleaning process steps, and each process step would go through whole 9 yards of risk management. And the risk management, we are talking about more than 30 plus risk model. By default, we'll provide something if you don't have anything. But if you have something that it's working for you and you want to apply, we are more than happy to configure. We call it custom model. So it would be a custom risk model that would be configured, and that can help you how you perform risk management for your cleaning processes today. You will be able to do it. Failure mode analysis, change impact assessment. As I say, risk management is not a one-time thing, it's a living thing. So meaning it is always there, no matter what, when you make any change, it has to go through the risk management, how you manage it, how which user performs it. Very important, very critical. Flexibility that software world can provide you to manage this risk for your cleaning process is, as I say, sky is the limit, 30 plus risk model. But if you have your own custom, it can be configured the way you perform today. So at the end, documentation. Can you imagine that cleaning validation protocol, cleaning validation master plan, summary report, periodic review report, everything in one click created automatically? That is what this cleaning validation documentation is. It can be on your fingertip. It will reduce the error, because when you use Microsoft Word, when you draft, yeah, obviously you will be using your validation template. But at the end of the day, it is still Microsoft Word. You will still be doing back and forth. Here, template is configured automatically. It will pull the acceptance criteria from the application, because that is what you are going after for that product equipment combination. This is the acceptance criteria. So automatically that would be generated in the document. Now you executed the document. So now you executed the document. There is a result. How do you capture that result? Well, the result is also with the smartness. We call something, there is a tool available that can automatically, with your if you have access to iPad, if you have access to smartphone, if you have access to any other device, automatically you can scan through the barcode. That information would be automatically pulled in the document. So At the end of the day, I wanted to leave 10 to 15 minutes for question and answer. So Linda, all over to you.
Thank you very much, Sanil, and thank you for your presentation. Just to reiterate for the late joiners, this session has been recorded and will be available on the ISPE Singapore YouTube page, and you can watch that later. So if anyone has any questions, please feel free to post it on the chat or unmute yourself. It's a small group, so don't be shy. If you have any questions, please ask Sanil.
Yeah, please. I think, this session supposed to be collaborative. So please ask any question because I'll be also learning from you guys. So please ask any question. In that case, I think to break the ice, Albert, do you have any question?
Yes, Sunil, I do.
Yes, please. Let's break the ice so
Yeah.
that other can open up and ask the questions.
Correct. So I have some experience performing cleaning validation. So I understand based on my experience, a couple of years back when digitalization wasn't mainstream, there was a lot of documentation and assessments that were done manually. It
That is
goes
correct.
end to end, correct? From change
That is correct.
assessments to impact from the change, from the assessments, from the actual implementation, the calculations, and the engineering cutout designs and whatnot. So with your expertise, right, in terms of the return, or I should say, what is the number one top benefit you see?
Number one benefit.
Number one benefit to switch.
Number one benefit I see is obviously efficiency. Meaning, let's say that to push that paperwork, the way it is most of the industry and most of the companies handling, we are talking about reducing that paperwork and time, efficient manner, compliant manner by almost 40 to 45%. So the time is money, right? So imagine that the protocol, the way you are doing right now, that takes, let's say 40 hours, entire week, and now suddenly it is only 10 hours or 15 hours. So that is where the number one benefit. Number two benefit, as I kept saying through the presentation, that when human blinks, error happens. When error happens, compliance risk happens, right? So when you digitize the program based on your own need and expectation and policy, it will give you consistent output. So those are the two most benefits that I have actually received that feedback from customers too. But these are the two most benefit that you can consider.
Great.
Audit readiness and other things is Albert always give.
Of course. I think it's always the point of balancing what value that you can
That is correct.
have return from digitization. It's difficult, I would say, for organizations to visualize that because most of the time they are looking in terms of, cost, which is something that's very tangible. It is the amount of money that you're paying to make this switch. But more often than not, it is not measured against the value that you are returning back to the organization in terms of how much manpower you can reduce, because much of it is now done by the software.
That is
how
correct.
much time you can save from not going through linear workflows in paper-based systems, which means you spend lesser time contracting external consultancy agents who charge a high premium to their services. Who does that?
That is correct.
Right. And of course, there's additional benefit, which is, as you mentioned, correctly mentioned, compliance, audit readiness. There will be lesser observations or issues with manual calculations with regards to cleaning validation calculations, be it from the development stage to the validation stage. So
Yes,
I would say
it is
that
end to end.
correct, because when those benefits are fully measured out, then the people within the organization start to understand, actually there's so much more that could be achieved, or the transformation could be done in the organization as compared to whatever that is working at the minimum using paper-based systems. Which I want to bring up to my next question. There are many digital validation software out there in the moment, correct? And most of them could handle validation activities. So if you could, share with us, in this, with the audience who are with us today, what is the main difference between, this software, cleaning validation software, as compared to a generic digital validation software? Where are some of the functionalities that, it's a game changer?
See, the game changer here is, we talked about the surface area calculations. We talked about the integrated residual limit calculation with the analytical method. That is not easy thing to do, but we were able to do it. So that is where it's a game changer. Because see, at the end of the day, what is the goal? The goal is that whenever user think of digitizing their cleaning validation program, now they have something out in the market where they can utilize, they can use, and then at the end of the day, they would feel good about it. So it's not about just selling. It's not about selling cleaning validation software. It's about ensuring, making sure when you utilize this particular software or digitized solution, at the end of the day, you would not regret. Why? Because we work really hard to come up with these calculations, algorithms, automation, everything. So I feel confident if I have there out in the market and I want to buy any software, I will feel confident to make sure that cleaning validation is one of the area which is a pain point where digitization sky is the limit. So I will consider to research that exactly where and who can help me with the cleaning validation digitization. That is what our topic was today. So, but I would obviously pretty excited in this phase when it comes to cleaning validation, and I'll obviously looking forward for any solution like this, right? If I'm working for any manufacturer.
Yes, for sure. And I think the key information, or I should say the key message, is that I think in most of the audits that I've used to attend, training validation is almost always part of the agenda.
That
right?
is
Because
correct.
it's always part of how you determine your SISPQ of the API or product that you're making, which makes it the number one topic that auditors look at, because it shows them whether there's any adulteration of interbatch or interproduct related contaminants, or whether cleaning agents, whether your cycles, your rinse cycles, your cleaning cycles are able to remove the detergents that were used to ensure the
See,
purity quality, right?
see, when I talked about where digitization can help, I gave one example, right? When we were at the equipment design side, I said there is a 3D model available. When you click, you can open the lid, you can go inside, and you can mark down exactly where you are taking the samples from, whether it's swab, rinse, microbial, whatever it is. And then system can automatically generate the unique sample ID. So that smartness, obviously, digitization would bring. It would make everyone's life easy, basically.
No, I agree. So I just want to check with the participants in this meeting room if anyone has any more questions on account of the time that we have remaining.
Yes. Please ask any question, because I love to get the questions.
Thanks, Sunil. Thanks, Albert, also for your questions. Also, if anyone has any follow-ups and wants to get in contact with Valgenesis, please let me know. You know our email address for ISPE Singapore. Also, Sunil will be speaking at our upcoming annual conference in Suntec on the 24th and 25th of August. In fact, there will be a panel discussion on C&Q digitalization. So you are very welcome to come and sign up and join him and many other colleagues at our event this coming August. We have a few minutes left. Does anyone have any questions at all? Or please unmute yourself. Any comments? Any clarifications? This is your golden opportunity to speak with our experts. And Sunil, thank you very much for staying up for us. I know it's evening time for you in the US, right?
That is correct.
Yeah, so thank you for sharing part of your evening with us.
No problem. I think I am always excited when it comes to topic like this. So it's my privilege. Thank you for giving me opportunity to share what I have learned and what I have experienced over the years.
You're very welcome. And we look forward to more of that in August and look forward to meeting you personally.
No problem.
So if there are no questions, I think everyone's had a chance to ask and pose any queries. We will end this session today. And I'd like to thank Sunil again and Albert for organizing this session with Valgenesis. And we look forward to seeing everyone at our upcoming events, whether that's online or in person. So thank you very much. I'm going to stop the recording now.